Good morning and welcome to Irreverent Knits. She's here. The talk show about absolutely everything and nothing to do with knitting. So we're glad you're joining us here. I am Tracy, owner of Low Country Shrimp and Knits, and this is Judy. She is my personalized dyer for all things local here in Bluffton, South Carolina, with Maggie Loves Yarn. So welcome to another end of the week. We've survived, which is it's a daunting
this
task.
week was kind of easy
For you?
Yeah,
not for me, but for you.
I was busy selling stuff here for you.
I know you were, because I was off having other craziness going on. But thank you for allowing me to breathe.
I get to play store.
She's so good at playing store.
I love to play store.
She comes in and I'm like, oh God, thank you. What happened? Anything happened? You didn't even reach to me yesterday. Is everything okay? She's like, I didn't need you.
Huh?
I'm like, I haven't heard from you all day. I didn't need you. You're fine. So
she texted me one day and she goes, I haven't heard from you all day. Is everything okay? Let me know if it's not. And I went, I texted back, I don't need any more yarn. She went, oh my God, code red.
You don't need yarn. What? The world is falling apart.
She knew. That was it.
That's how we knew. So anyways, lots of going on and not a whole lot of going on in the world of yarn. Some hot fashion things going on, a lot of Ravelry, kind of craziness I'm feeling in the air with Ravelry lately. We got a bunch of new Madeline-Tosh colors, and we have some fun projects that we think would go well with them nicely. And I'm working on a few things, and Judy's working on 11-5 things.
I know, because you keep throwing things at me. Like oh God, what was that? The flamingo pillow.
So a while ago, Judy was like, we should do this as a class. And I'm like, you're right. We should do this as a class.
It didn't mean me.
So I put it out as a class, and I'm like, okay, well, she goes, well, I've got to make a sample for this class. And I'm like, and the flamingo pillow. She goes, what? I'm like, you wanted to do the flamingo pillow.
Just because I said I like a pattern doesn't mean I want to do it.
I believe we should do this as a class means you definitely.
Saying that.
Oh, you did.
I want to find it. You find that.
We need that drop. What is that commercial where they
drop the flag.
Replay.
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 Mm-hmm.
So
I think I just said this is cute.
Oh, yeah, maybe I misinterpreted your "this is cute" as you need to make this and we need to go with it. So that one of the challenges of owning a yarn shop, and I actually put a video out the other day about how glamorous it is to own a yarn store, is some of the hilarious and ridiculous things that people think and say. And my favorite that everyone says is, it must be nice to just being able to sit around and knit all day. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't even tell you the last time I was able to just sit and knit running a business. so I am so far behind.
What are some of the craziest requests that you've had? My friend that owned a yarn shop in Savannah told me one time she's sitting there and this woman calls and she goes, can you fix this?
On the phone?
On the phone.
Yeah.
and she's
yes,
like,
you need to frog.
I need to see it. So I'm guessing no, until you put it in my hands.
I think, there's definitely some things, and I need pink, as colors like that. And I'm like, you got to be more specific. Or do you have Barocco? Yes, I absolutely have Barocco, but what are you looking for? And we can order too. So if there's something that you're looking for, if we sell a Barocco product or a Manos de Uruguay or whatever, we can absolutely order it, but we just can't possibly carry everything that people are seeing. And
I had the one lady in, and bless her heart, she's really sweet, and it took a while before she understood what I was saying. She was looking at a pattern on her phone, and she was reading the suggested yarns, but because it was on her phone like mine, she couldn't see the commas. So she kept asking for Comfort Vintage. I went, there's Comfort DK and there's Vintage. No, I want the Comfort Vintage. And I'm like, there's no Comfort Vintage. There's Comfort.
There's a comma.
And
comma there.
Vintage.
Yeah.
And then she found the Vintage behind you, and she thought the one color she really liked, Vintage was the color name. I want this in Comfort. I went,
that's a yarn.
Yeah,
that's specific.
It took a while before she understood.
Well, or I think the hardest thing is when people bring like this little frizzle of yarn and want me to find a color that is this. Do you have this yarn? And I'm like, oh, let's see. And it's been,
we carry lint.
It's very old, or a pattern that's discontinued, or yarn that hasn't been around. So those tend to be the hardest, but we can always find something that will play with it.
Yep.
You just have to be open to other ideas. If
Well,
you're steadfast on this is it, then you're going to leave very
and
dissatisfied.
that happened when I owned a quilt shop, because people would come in and with a magazine and they'd go, I want to make this quilt. I'm like, okay, well, we get the pattern. Well, I want it in this fabric.
Yeah,
and
well,
I'm like, this fabric isn't even out there
Right.
anymore, because fabric is a lot like fashion.
Right.
You know, you like that blouse, you better get it now,
Right.
because a year and a half from now it
Right.
won't be here. And then
Right.
you got to remember those people had to make it, and that takes months. And then
Yeah.
magazines go into production at least 6 months ahead of time.
Right.
So you're talking that quilt is at least 2 to 3 years old before it comes out in this magazine, this issue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. One of those words. Yeah. Episode, TV.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and they just didn't understand that. Well,
Yeah.
why can't I get it? Because it's not made anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, if you're going in, if you have something specific in mind, if you can come with either yarn, if you can say, I need to get so much. And the challenge with a lot of these patterns is European patterns tend to be in grams. So they'll say you need 50-gram skeins of this. It doesn't always tell you the yardage. So the best is to go and say, all right, well, I know it's going to need 5 skeins of this yarn. We can always look up that yarn, find out how much is on one skein, and then do the math.
And that's something you can do at home. I do all the time.
Absolutely.
I find someplace that sells it, and then they'll put how many yards.
And if you Google it, even if you've got something, say it's an old skein of yarn and you know what it is, even if it's discontinued, somebody's got something out there on Etsy or on eBay that does give some of the information. So, so those are some ways to kind of get around.
And come in with an open mind. Yeah. Like, I think this is the color I want, but oh my God, that's even prettier.
Right.
And go that route.
Well, one of the things you can do too is if you've got, like, I know I've got to make, I get this a lot. I'm making a baby blanket and they don't want pinks. Okay. Well, let's, first of all, let's narrow down what kind of yarn will work well for a baby blanket. I always suggest yarn that's machine washable and dryable, because no new mom has the time to go, well, this is delicates and I'm going to have to very delicately wash that. Who has time for that?
Exactly.
I just am like, I can't even blink without wanting to, cry from being so tired. So we can go from there. We can go with colors that are neutral. We can go with colors that are popular right now. We can match a nursery. There are definitely ways around it. One of the best ways, I feel, is to take a variegated yarn and build around that. And so I have an example of this because we just started. We got a whole bunch of fun Madeline Tush here at our shop. So I'm very excited to offer that. And I got all variegated because, it's easy to find a solid, I find. And we have quite a bit of solid colors here at the shop. So what I like to do is find one variegated that I like and then play with those colors. And you have to have either an open mind or an eye for pulling different colors together. Now, Stephen West, I love his patterns. And the reason I love his patterns is because he's very comprehensive. If you have a question about how to do the cast on, if you don't know how to do one of the stitches, a bind off, whatever you've got, he has all kinds of videos out there that are super helpful on YouTube. And you can say, how do I do this stitch, Stephen West? And he'll have 10 videos.
He's
and
a great guy.
He's just so kind. And he explains it in continental. And then he throws it, this. And then if you do it this way, and he's really a great pattern creator. So we got some new Madeline Tosh in, as I said, and this one here in the middle, I was like, well, this is a fun color. And it's called the Clue Board from 1984 is the name of this color. And I'm just going to show it over here for Instagram. So I was like, all right, I want that to be kind of the focus of where I'm pulling from. And with Stephen West, he often pulls really, I don't want to say garish for me. I'm a little bit plain.
Oh, look up his house.
Yeah. Oh,
he
it's purples and golds. And I mean, God bless him. But I'm a little more tame. So most of the stuff I make for me is rather tame, but I wanted to show off different yarns that we have here in the shop. So his patterns are fun because you really do maybe about 12 rows. And when you're done with the 12 rows, you either do something you're familiar with. So he usually does a garter row back and forth. And then like here, this is called Briornate, the Briornate shawl. So I wanted to showcase.
His shawls are fantastic.
They're so much fun. They really are so much fun.
His clothing, sometimes you kind of go, I'm not sure even how you put that on,
He-
but
He's
his shawls
definitely
are.
creative mind and a lot of
He's
those
a
things.
theater major.
Oh, he's terrific. I love him. But anyway, so I wanted to showcase a couple different yarns that we have here. So I went with this color to pull in and then this color. So I wanted it to be definitely more, what do you call it? Flash and trash. I wanted it to be like, wow, that's a lot of colors for this shawl.
That's so when you're in a crowded place, your husband can find you.
Yes. He usually can hear me talking, but or laughing. But anyway, so there's a bunch of fun different stitches on this that you can go in and work with. But again, so once you're willing to go, all right, well, this is going to be where my main color is, and I'm going to just find some other colors to flow with it. This is a really fun pattern for that. This is a really fun pattern.
Well, that's what I did with the Navelli. I loved this one.
So this is another, is this Central Park West? Is this Central
Park West?
Yeah, I think this one's Central Park West. Also Madeline Tosh.
So Navelli, and I wanted, it's a summer tee. So I kind of wanted this kind of off-white.
Here, I'll put these.
Because there's color work at the bottom, and there's 2 colors of color work. And that's what I had to do yesterday. I had to rip out because I started with that color instead of this. So then I put that with it, and look how it draws that out.
And play with your colors. Play with your colors. Bring it in because you think, oh, well, this will match. If you don't have it with you, sometimes you think it's going to match. And then you're like,
colors today are there's so many ways to dye and you get it. I mean, just even in my little garage studio, I can microwave, I can use warming pans, I use the pot and do it.
I'm going to grab Malabrigo.
I just do all kinds. So there's all different ways to do the dye.
Well, Malabrigo has some of the most saturated colors.
They are.
Some of saturated colors. So this one is called Matisse Blue. Matisse Blue. And I can't even imagine how they are able to get it this dark. This color too. This is called Teal Feather.
You don't dilute your dye at all. You just pour it on full strength.
Now, remember, even though you can wet block certain things, it doesn't mean you should. And with anything that is this vibrant, it's likely going to bleed. It is likely going to bleed, okay? So if you've got something and you've paired it with another yarn that's not dark, that's not equal to this, a white, a beige, tan area, it's not, it'll bleed. It is going to bleed.
Turquoise is almost impossible to exhaust the dye. That's even on mine. And I wash and wash and wash mine till it comes out. But I also, if it, most people heat their yarn for like maybe 10 minutes, I'll go 20 and just lower the heat and let it sit more.
In her crock pot. She crock pot.
I crock pot. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I use a hot pot. I use a microwave. I use warming trays. Just a lot of ways to dye.
But these definitely are going to bleed. So if you've got something that, even if it says, blah, 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 washable, be very careful. I would recommend either spraying it with a little Eucalan, watered down Eucalan, or steam killing, because it is absolutely going to it will bleed on your loved piece that you spent all this time and money creating.
And if you still want to do it, make sure that you put it in with a lot of salt.
And sometimes vinegar, rinse vinegar.
And then there's something that people use that called color stop or whatever that keeps it from bleeding. And
does that have the little piece of
material
they put in?
Product, like I think you can get it when you get RIT.
Yeah,
and it's in there.
Yeah,
I don't know the RIT dyes.
I haven't tried those, so we definitely can't recommend them. These are just things that we read about here, but I know for a fact because I've seen it. And when I'm winding yarn, you can see sometimes the real vibrant colors bleed, and so because I hold my yarn like this and it bleeds on my hand, so it's going to. When you're knitting, it's going to be on your needles. So don't get upset if you've got these special needles that are bamboo or something that may
become very pretty.
They're just going to be beautiful.
But yeah, I do. I soak mine for a long time and it goes through a lot of baths to get it out. And sometimes if it still continues to bleed, I wrap it up in the saran wrap and zap it in the microwave one more time to get it to exhaust, and that'll work too.
We've even had it come in where it's been so quickly turned and sent out that it still smells like vinegar when it comes into the shop. So like we were saying,
Maggie's gets washed.
Not Maggie loves yarn. No, we make sure that it's but anyway, so pay attention to when you're playing. But again, you could always take another color. So you could throw these colors in with what we've got going on here and make a very different style piece. Okay. So be open to trying different.
Try new things.
It's
Try
fun.
new things. I always do get irritated when I would make a quilt and people would come in and go, I want it just like that. I want all your fabrics. And sometimes I didn't have those fabrics anymore. And I go, I don't want you to have a quilt like mine. I want you to have a quilt that is you.
Yeah. Well,
you know
what though? To me, I don't have that brain. I like to look at something and go, I want that. And so I've had people I've done another shawl, Stephen West shawl, that was fun. And I used a kit that we have from Wonderland Yarns
here at the shop.
And we keep selling all of these kits that go with it because it's really fun and the colors work well together.
It might be the same colors, but you use it in different order.
Or even if you're using the same, I don't care. Like to me, I'm like, yeah, sure, that looks fine. It's like, do you mind if I get this? No, go for it. I love it. So,
I didn't care if I had all the fabrics, but sometimes I didn't. And so that was the excuse.
Well, like this one I had in my stash, and I was like, I ran out of yarn. I wasn't coming to the shop. I was like, all right, what can I play with? And so I have this, but it's only lace weight. So now I'm tripling it because I'm insane. So tripling this, which is not easy to do when you're trying to pick up all these stitches. It's called the dip 3 stitch that's being on here. And I'm like and I'm blind as a bat. So it's so fun. It's so fun. I'm like, I asked my daughter, I'm like, is this too chaotic? Because it's not always exactly precise because I just couldn't see it with the yarn. She's like, it's texture. It's so much fun.
I love texture.
So much fun. I'm
texture.
Like, okay.
If in a solid, you need texture to get it to really sing.
Yeah. I think it's fun. The only thing I didn't love so far, and it's not that I don't like it, is the bottom stitch here. It's kind of looks like a piece of wheat, and it looks like all this bunchy little caterpillar until I know when I block it, it's going to stretch it out.
This one here?
No, this one here. Because when it's sitting down like this, it just looks like this weird fuzzy caterpillar.
I like what the stitch is on the pink.
But when you stretch it, it makes this really pretty.
Yeah, it'll look good.
Backwards here. So it's really pretty stitch. But when it sits by itself, and here we go. See what I mean? It's kind of like bleh.
I like what's the stitch on the pink? I like that. That's pretty. That would be pretty on a yoked sweater.
Yeah, that one. Let's see what that one's called. So is it the rib dip stitch?
Yeah,
I think it's the dip stitch.
Pretty.
And this is great if you don't know how to do brioche. This is great because it really. This one is.
Oh, that's brioche.
This is brioche. Okay. This color here.
And do you like doing brioche?
Yeah, it's fun.
I don't like doing brioche. I don't do it.
Well, the good news is the stuff that I love, you don't care for, and the stuff that I really like, you love. So
we just make fun of each other, and it works. It works.
So that's how we do. But it's
I showed her a pattern the other day. I just thought it was kind of cute. I didn't mean she should do it. And she went, ew, not my style.
I thought you read that wrong.
And I went, okay.
I read that wrong. You read that wrong. That was just, not my style. Yeah, no, not my style. But
felt like she slapped.
No. It'd be much harsher if I was actually.
Mean. She was mean to me. Mean.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be mean. Okay, so because we've got all these new fun variegated yarns, we've been kind of looking at patterns. And so Judy, I know you've looked up a few that you liked. There's a few on Ravelry.
Well, yeah, there's been a bunch of free ones lately. Oh, you want me to show it?
Well, just at least mention it. I know you looked up. There's this cute little
tank. That would be perfect for
cute little tank.
And you have a lot of youngins come in.
I do. So and this is just a good, and it is a good way, especially if you're a newer knitter, to my understanding, and I have not researched the pattern.
It's called Grasslands Tea.
Yes.
And it's just adorable.
It's really cute. Looks great with a little variegated yarn. All right. It's kind of, it's hard to see on here. Not so much on this
body, but.
Yeah. It's on this, meaning yours. Yeah, this is by Rachel Brockman.
No, it's cute. It's adorable.
Grasslands Tank, by Rachel Brockman. Super cute. So I think that will be something that I'm going to try.
One that was called Intersection, which would be gorgeous with the new.
Absolutely. This one I just loved. And this is by Amy Mercier. So here she has a lot of great patterns. A lot of fun. She has a website. She sends stuff out all the time. And of course, I'm blanking on it.
I sent a free one to you guys.
That was it a cowl?
It was
there was a gentleman that had a cowl released recently, and it's really cute.
I don't know.
It was on Ravelry when I was looking at it the other day.
Go ahead and talk. Smoke if you got him, and I'll pull it out. Benjamin Matthews. Oh my God, you ever look at his patterns? He's adorable.
Benjamin Matthews.
He is really cute, and all of his patterns are cute. And so, like, especially when he models.
Oh, we'll have to check out Benjamin. So, yeah. So there's a lot of really fun things. Ravelry's been interesting lately. It seems extra feisty. And I'm not sure.
Election year. That's what got him in trouble last time.
It seems.
Just saying.
It does seem a little. People are a little more aggressive on it than, I think people need to take a step back and realize
I got yelled at.
to talk about that. But so first and foremost, I feel like it needs to be kind of a neutral spot where people are coming for happiness. I mean, knitting and crocheting is happy. It's fun. Yes, there are times that it's frustrating and it can get you upset if you've really tried on a pattern and you find a mistake or it's just not working or you're just like, why can't I get this? That has its moments, but it's supposed to be this wonderful, relaxing hobby that is wonderful for your brain and it's good for your fine motor skills and it works both sides of your brain and it's calming when you're doing it and enjoyable, not when you're starting a project when you're like, I'm trying to get the stitch on. But I feel like Ravelry should just be an extension of that. I want my shop to be an extension of that. Like my shop is cheeky and funny and, I want it to not be, because a lot of people have this stigma that, knitting's for old people. And I'm like, I've been knitting since I was a kid. And like
people think that a lot
of people still do. People still do. Yeah, people still do. I mean, if you go into the airports nowadays, no one's knitting. No one's knitting sitting and waiting.
Half the time they take the needles from you.
Anytime recently, I haven't had any issues with needles. I don't have any issues with needles. After 9/11, but we don't have those issues anymore. Maybe in Europe, but not anything that I've seen here. But this is supposed to be fun and it's supposed to be relaxing. And so, first and foremost, if you put a pattern onto Ravelry, you should be available for feedback and comments. And so or questions, most importantly. And that's some of the reason that Camilla Vlad's project for the field sweater was getting some negative write-ups, not because the pattern was bad, but because she wasn't responsive to questions and she wouldn't answer. And that's why you have a local yarn shop so that they can come and they can kind of walk you through, maybe some questions you might have. But if you're asking a question or if you have, you're putting an opinion, as long as you're not being mean, that's the place to do it. But man, they come back at you sometimes and you're like, wow. So I know,
this is the one that I don't think I sent you this one.
Church Mouse?
But it's not the other one. I can't find the other one that I sent. Yeah, this one's adorable, but I can't pull it up.
You can't. Doesn't want to play.
Doesn't want to play right now.
So anyways, and with Ravelry too, if you're looking for patterns and you have a variegated yarn that you're just in love with, okay, then you can get down to that amount of specificity on your request. You can get down to the size yarn that you want to do. They have by yardage. They have a lot of different parameters that you can set around your search engine and find something that's really and sometimes you can get too specific and they're like, we have nothing. I'm like, oh.
Well, you know what else too? You can go to Yarn Sub. You ever gone to yarnsub.com?
No, I've not.
You type in, because this is going back to saying, you don't have that yarn anymore.
Yarn Sub.
You type in the yarn that it's asking for, and it will give you every yarn that is compatible with it that's out there right now.
Yeah.
And it will tell you the advantages to that. You may need more disadvantages. It's a cool site, yarnsub.com.
All right, I'll have to
and
check that out.
You just pull it up and you type in the yarn that's being used, and it'll give you all the compatible yarns that go with it.
All right.
So if you say Yarn you can't find what to go with it, you're lying.
You're not looking hard enough.
You're lying.
You're not looking hard enough. But anyway, so why'd you get yelled at?
Because I said I wasn't going to pay that. It was a washcloth pattern. And she wanted $10 for the pattern. And with it, you got a 26-page download about self-care for your life. And it's like, I just want the pattern.
Right.
I'm not paying $10 for that. And she got
$10 is high.
Sent me a nasty message about
$10 for any pattern is high.
A washcloth?
Yeah.
That's like a one-page pattern.
Right.
Come on.
Right. It should be free.
And it wasn't even that unusual of a pattern. So
yeah. I mean, you've got to be reasonable.
Okay, whatever. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Well. No, that's a bit much. Get yelled at him.
She sent me this long thing about. It was just like, okay.
Judy's stirring up trouble.
Yeah.
How'd she do? How did she do?
Time out.
So we are, a lot of times here, we live right outside of Hilton Head, if you're unfamiliar with it. And we get a lot of real cool people in from out of town because, Hilton Head's a big tourist destination, especially this time of year when up north it's chilly and people want to escape the cold and come. It's chillier here, but certainly not as chilly as up
Next month, they'll
north.
start all the spring breakers. And then,
Well, even that February break, people are here now. So even trying
Yeah.
to get on island is
I don't try.
challenging at certain times. But so anyway, I try to find things that are kind of cool to when people come in. So this is a new-ish product. It's called Sea Spun. It is by Barocco. These are the two colors I purchased. Okay,
I haven't
Sea
had a
Spun.
chance to knit any of it up yet, but I
No.
think it's up cute.
You know what? I'm going to play with that today. So this one I ordered. These two, I should say, because this one is made from recycled ocean plastic waste. So I thought, well, okay, we're right here. I mean, I already pay a tax on turtles. I might as well buy recycled ocean plastic yarn. And it's kind of neat. So
It's kind of like netting.
It's very much like netting. So I'm going to pull a little bit apart here. And it looks like fishnet to me.
There was a yarn out not too long ago that had that, a couple years ago.
Here's what that one looks
and
like.
It was very popular.
Here's what this one looks like. It looks like fishnet,
Uh-huh.
but it's actually, it's very, very soft. This yarn is very, very soft. And it is made of cotton and then sequal, Seaqual, polyester. And that is what is being made from the bottles and the plastic waste that they pull out of the ocean.
Cool.
So it's really neat. So I tried to go with like oceany colors if they wanted to make, people want to make projects around here. So we'll have to knit this up.
It's loose enough that if you knitted it on big needles, it would be cool.
Yeah.
And
like
it's tight enough that if you knitted it on smaller needles, it's going to give you a
cool texture.
Yeah, it's a cool. What's the price point on that? Do you know?
That would require me to finish putting them in the system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How many yards is on?
So this one this has a
100. No, wait a minute.
Where are we down here? That's the size hook. It's
That's
up here,
the
120 yards.
That's pretty good.
120 yards on this. So kind of a fun thing. We'll have to come up with a neat project. I'm even thinking like a bag. You know what I mean? Like something. Why are you changing?
I bet a crochet's pretty. What's wrong?
Yeah, I just opened something up. So we'll have to come up with something fun. I'll have to make a little
I'll bet it crochets up really, really nice.
Yeah. So it says 7/8. So they're considering this like worsted weight. I don't know. I guess if you don't tighten it up. Anyway, it's interesting.
I would go anywhere from 6s to 10s on it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to play with that. So that's kind of neat. We just got this in chained yarn seems to be really, really big right now. So we got a couple new ones into the shop here to play with too. It's kind of along this similar vein. This one is called Secret Garden. And it's mostly cotton, but it's got a polyamide in it element. And this is kind of similar on that same thing. It's very chainette looking. It almost looks braided. So I'm finding this a lot in the spring yarn.
And, I used to turn my nose up at it, and then I knitted something with it one time. It was so cute. No.
It's just got a real nice soft texture. This one does. So I got these two.
It's got it almost looks tweedy.
Yeah. This one is just kind of looks
that
like
one's really
cotton
pretty.
Candy to me. So we got, kind of contrasting colors. So these are kind of fun. So you'll see, I think you're going to see a lot of chainette style yarn popping up around in yarn stores and patterns for them because they're quite prevalent right now. We have a few other stuff that we just got in. So this one I'm super excited about, and I don't know why. It's just
the colors are
so soft. So this is called Scrumptious 4-ply. It is by Fiberspace, and it's superwash, but it's 55% superwash, but it's 45% silk. So it is absolutely luscious. So I got these 4 colors just because I thought they were fun. And
this color right here, I'm so in love with.
I'm using this last one, the blue one here, with that shawl that I've been making. So these are the 4 colors, a little closer there. But it's just so shiny and soft. Gonna be super slippery though, so make sure that you're using probably bamboo. Some bamboo wooden needles, because it's definitely gonna slide. Especially if you're a newer knitter, you're gonna drop stitches, and those are gonna go because it's so slippery that it doesn't doesn't have
Has
any
no stickiness.
Exactly. We got a couple new ones. This one's new, and I thought this one was fun, variegated. This is by Amano Yarns. It is a Peruvian-based company, and they have very cool names because it's using Quechua, which is the native language of the Incans in that area, is Quechua. So that's what these names are. So this one is called Warmy, Warmi. Warmy Journeys is the name of this one. And it is alpaca and 30% wool, but the colors are just so fun.
They're very muted.
Yeah.
They're so pretty.
Kind of heathery as
It'd
well.
be pretty in a cardigan.
Well, and you know what? You could put it with, even with the, knitting for olive, because they have a lot of dusty, they have a lot of the dusty colors that would play nicely.
Oh, look at that.
And see, look how fun that is. And that's going to pull that purple out. So the dusty colors work really beautifully. They seem to be quite popular right now as well. I got a little bit of lace in because sometimes people ask, lace is hard to sell. And the reason for that is because it's really, really small. And, you have to use tiny needles, and it takes a long time to see any results.
And, I don't want to say it. Lace knitters are kind of like in a little section all themselves. They do that and nothing else,
Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of them because it's so intricate.
Here's what we got here. So this one is by West Yorkshire Spinners or Yorkshire Spinners. And we got Pearl, we got Champagne, and what is this one called? Sorbet. So those are pretty. So we also thought too, you of course could marlow with something else. We got a new this one. So these are interesting to me. These are from also West Yorkshire Spinners. This is called the Croft, but they're calling this Wild Shetlands. They're calling it Aran Roving. So these are these two colors that I've got going on here. But it doesn't feel.
It's got to apply to it.
So it doesn't feel like traditional roving, because traditional roving isn't spun yet. It's just the raw material before it's spun and created into those buntings or wound or what have you.
I bet when you knit it, it gets the effect of roving.
Maybe. But this is kind of fun. And, Andrea Mowry's been on this kind of quest to do all of the spinning. And so she's got some really cool videos out there of her at home and in front of her little cozy fireplace and just like, oh, I'm doing 25 days of spinning. And she looks so beautiful and cute. And I'm just like, oh, so cute. And was spinning. So anyway, if you have questions about that, she's cool to look at. But
her kids are old enough now to run amok. I was so excited the summer my kids were old enough to run amok in the neighborhood and I didn't have to watch them.
Oh, God.
It was like, great, get out there.
So anyway, those are new. We got a couple more using with the Croft. The Croft is kind of this cool little, so we got a couple matching little guys.
I think that'll probably take off. Maybe closer to the fall.
Yeah.
I think it will take off.
We just kind of wanted to put it out there to see what.
Pretty.
So this is Aran weight. And Aran weight's interesting because you don't see a lot labeled Aran anymore.
With Kate Davies, all hail Kate Davies, a lot of her patterns are Aran weight.
But Aran weight's really just like a little bit more aggressive worsted weight. So if you're like, I really want to make this pattern, but it says Aran weight and I can't find Aran weight, worsted weight's gonna be just fine.
She takes Aran, like the stern knockers. She that was Aran doubled. Or even triple.
Geez, that's a big old.
That's why I didn't want to make it that big and that heavy.
But look at, if you take, so this is a worsted weight yarn. This is vintage. We've had this. This is a great solid yarn. If you put it up next to this, I don't see any difference in the weight.
I don't.
All right. So here is Aran versus.
A lot of times, if you're making a garment with the Aran, they double it.
All right. Here again is Aran versus worsted. I truly don't see any difference in weight. So if somebody's saying
all you do
this
is
is calling for Aran,
needle size a little bit.
Which I always have to do anyway.
Well, what size needles are they calling?
Let's see.
I can't read. 8s.
So that's
which is going to be really
weight.
Tight.
Yeah. Well, I always have to go up needle sizes anyways because I have a little bit of stress in my knitting. So those, and we also got DK weight, which I didn't. Did I not pull? Oh, I didn't pull. Hang on. Hold that thought. I'll be right back. These I thought were pretty.
Oh yeah, those two colors are pretty.
Yeah, so we got these two. This is the Croft, but it's DK weight. And again, this is Shetland wool from West Yorkshire Spinners. Yeah. So this is called East Shore and
Alpine hat would be
Walesy.
pretty in that. Alpine blue.
Yes, this is. I think these are pretty, but you can throw, this blue with some other stuff too. Like we had.
That's a blue that goes with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this looks like a cornflower blue almost to me.
Mhm.
But they have, you could pair it up with some other stuff, and you could put a pop into certain things. I had something out here that I was playing with, but now I can't remember what it was. Anyway, so that's what's going on there. Stuff to think about for some colors. We opted for one order of alpaca socks from Lang. Super soft. If you are a sock maker, we thought this was kind of fun.
Oh, so fun for summer.
Yep.
Some of you wear socks year round.
Yep. And with alpaca, it has a cooling effect. So that's why you can see these people that live in the Andes and those types of things in these things that are made from alpaca, because it actually cools you because of the way that the fibers are. So if you hold real alpaca, it feels cool in your hands. So that's how you know you're not buying some like cheap knockoffs if you go traveling and they're like, this is baby alpaca, it's $7 billion. And you're like, it's not cool.
It's warm to the touch.
Yes. So you want it to be cool when you hold it. So so that's kind of a cool little bit of sock patterns. I had someone, Judy is my sock person. I had someone in here the other day. What is there a good, just basic sock pattern on Ravelry? Can you just Google basic sock, or not Google, but
yeah, basic sock pattern.
And that's the one we teach with, right?
Yes and no. I've done so many that I just kind of do it off the top of my head.
Right. But if you're learning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a ton of them.
If you're learning socks.
Yeah. Because there's a ton of them.
We're starting to get into thinking about warmer weather. We're not in it yet. Even down here, you have to go down to Florida before you get into that weather. Socks are a great summer knitting project. So if you are new to knitting or want to go, because a lot of people are like, oh, it's too hot to knit in the summertime.
No, it's not.
Yeah, we hide in the summertime.
Knit by the pool.
Yeah, I don't knit by the pool, but that's the time I finally find to read. But those are great projects. The only challenge with socks is trying to figure out what kind of needles you like.
Oh yeah, there's beginner. There's all kinds. There's beginner Felicity, beginner socks, simple beginner socks, beginner socks. I bought a book, and I don't know whether you can still even buy the book because I got it used and I had to hunt for it. It was called The Big Book of Socks. Let me see if Amazon still even carries it. And in it, it had, if you went to the back, Big Book of Socks.
Big socks.
If you went to, no, it had all different kinds of sock patterns. But if you went to the back of it, it had the different kinds of cast-ons, the different kind of heels, the different kind of toes, and you could choose which one, and it would teach you
create
that
your own
went.
monster. That's cool.
Let me see if they still have it.
That's very cool. We had this great couple come in, and she wanted to make some socks, and she's like, I haven't knit in a long time.
Right here. It's
the
this
Big
one.
Book of Socks.
That's how I taught myself to knit. It's this book right here, Big Book of Socks. You want to hold that up there? It's $18 on Amazon, and you can get used ones for as little as $6.
Yeah.
And that's a good one because in the back, there's original patterns. They're not hard, but in the back it has, here's short row heels for, and it gives like 4 different versions for the amount of numbers that you have on your needles at that point. And that's how I taught myself. They were very easy to understand and do in the different kinds of toes, the star, the Nordic, which is more squared off, and it taught you how to do all of them. You just picked which one you wanted to use in the back. I think I had it here for a while.
Maybe
not. I'll bring it. It was a great one to learn off of. It really was.
Yeah, we'll have to do another socks class too, because and there is the different. So I am not a double point person. I am not double point person, and people love double points. I just am not. I always tend to lose them. They fall out. I get frustrated with them. I'm like, do I put little stoppers on the end? No, that doesn't work. I've tried it.
It was frustrating for me. And it was like, I'm not going to be able to knit mittens or socks unless I come up with something else. And I had someone teach me the 2 circular.
So that's how we teach socks here, is with 2 9-inch circular needles. And I love the Chagu lace point because they just got a nice sharp point. The tips are long enough, but not too long that you can't manipulate it. And it really is an easier way, in my opinion, to practice socks. As long as you get the point of like, you have to work off the same needle and then shift. You have to kind of shift to the right or left. I have to do it. And I think it's to
What are you
left. But
talking about?
when you switch sides, when you
With
divide out
two
your,
circulars?
you've got your two
Oh, yeah.
circulars, you knit across. When you get to the
1,
end, you
2.
turn,
Yep.
turn it counterclockwise.
And then you pick up here and here. So it's
Yep.
like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. So it's a good way.
It's, I had somebody, who is it that was in here the other day? She was insisting she wanted to do socks, but she only had one circular. And I kept saying, use 2 circulars. And she did not understand. She did not understand. Well, how do you get it then when you only have like 4 stitches on it? I said, you have a needle and there's 4 stitches on either one and you turn it. And yes, it's a little fiddly, but you're only doing it for a couple rows and then you're finishing it.
Yeah.
So, you can put up with anything for a couple rows.
Well, and if at that point you're just feeling it's too fiddly with the one, just put it on double points. But you're only doing double points for a tiny amount of time. You're not doing it for an entire sock.
Yep. And that was another big discussion. That was on Facebook. You can't do fingers on gloves unless you use double points. Yes, you can.
There's always a way.
Yes, you can.
There's always a way. You just got to be creative and open to new ways.
Oh, the only way you can do a sock is with afterthought heels. No. Well, that's the only way you can do a sock with a pattern. I said, no, it's not. You might have to take a second and count and maybe do an extra row to pick up that pattern, but it works. I do it all the time. No, you just can't.
Yeah. So I'm on a couple knitting Facebook groups, and I think one of them is just called knitting. And so it's a lot of people are on that site. And sometimes it scares me what people ask.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to knit a sweater for my husband. How many stitches should I cast on?
Yeah. So the other day I got laughing, and I never comment because I'm too snarky. First of all, I'll probably get banned, but I don't want people, because texting is hard. You're just like, okay, I'm not reading this the right way, or I'm catching a tone. Just like when you said ew, you thought I was slapped you across the face. No, that was just ew, not for me. Wasn't meant to be read that way. So
it didn't bother me. I was like, okay, well, fine.
But so somebody put out there the other day, I want to know what that Gordon Ramsay pattern is. And I just was like, Gordon Ramsay pattern? Like, but at first I thought, well, maybe because people sometimes call patterns down south recipes.
They do.
So I'm like, well, maybe I'm trying to like justify.
My friend Gretchen calls them a recipe. And I sometimes do it now because I've heard her do it so much.
Right. So I was going, well, maybe they meant Gordon Ramsay recipe, but then why would they put it specifically in a knitting group? It wasn't just like an open question
I've
to
never
the
heard
world.
of anything like that.
Gordon Ramsay pattern. And so, people did kind of jump on it, and I just wanted to be like, yeah.
Did other people go, what the hell are you talking about?
I think they were like, I think you've got the wrong name, and those kinds of things. They were far kinder than where my mean little mind went with it. But, so I'm always like, don't you wonder sometimes, like, why would you put this out there? Why would you put that into the world?
I don't know. Well, it's just like those things. Like, how many stitches do I cast on for a pair of socks? Oh, honey, I don't know. What size are you? What kind of yarn are you using?
Right. Those questions, some of them are wonderful, and I do learn a lot.
I do too.
Those,
the Fair Isle one.
Yeah.
Working. I've become really good friends with a lady up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And oh my God, she knits the most beautiful. She knits beautifully to begin with, and then she has this cover of a magazine type house, and she's always posed in front of it. So one time I was just kidding. I went, I want to be your friend. So she friended me. And it's so funny. She did this beautiful, and she does all the yoke. Farrell. She must whip out one a week. And she did one, and it was so pretty in these blues and tans. And whoever takes her pictures must be her husband, because I know they're retired. She's holding a coffee mug, and I had to do it. Oh my God, girl, this is what I posted. Oh my God, girl, you slayed me. Not only is that beautiful, but the cup you're holding matches the sweater. Are you serious? And she got the biggest kick out of that. She just started laughing.
Yeah.
I'd have to run around the house like, wait a minute, Gordon. I got to find a cup to match.
When I take any videos, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even pay attention. I'm like, how much of a mess is behind me? What's going on here? Like I made
it
this.
Doesn't matter. Gordon will take it the absolute worst picture anyway.
Oh God, yeah.
With my thumb, with his thumb in
I'm
it
like,
or whatever.
I asked my husband, I'm like, could you take a picture? I'm like, could you make me look any fatter? Like what? Could you
Gordon
say, hey, suck in your gut or turn your face a little, like, so you don't look like.
It's a lot better now that it's all digital. When it was film, we always got a thumb in the picture.
Oh, I mean, it's
thumb
just,
or a strap or something.
I made this cheeky little video about the Kitchener stitch. I can do the Kitchener stitch because, you know, of course, once you post any video, then it leaves people to go, well, I've learned the Kitchener stitch. And well, yeah, so have I. I'm just teasing. Like, I know how to do it. I'm just going for the laugh. I go for the laugh. That's my job.
Some lady on there said something, and I said something about not blocked yet because I laid something out. And somebody said, yeah, you're going to do it. This one goes, what is all this fussiness with blocking? You don't need to block anything. I've never blocked anything. So, of course, I immediately looked up her profile, looked at her stuff, and I went, yeah, well, maybe you should.
See, those are comments we need to think, but keep to ourselves.
I did. But I thought, you snuck out one more time. I'm going to pull up a picture and going, look how much better this would look blocked, but I didn't.
Yeah, I'm finding too that I can't get anything done that I need to get done. Right now, I'm still like on fire constantly. At some point, I'm hoping something will give and I
when the kids leave the house.
Right, when everyone moves out and I retire, that'll be cool. A couple more years. So I've kind of gotten away. So we started the Martin Story midwinter knit along, and it exploded where I tried to order kits and I got into like a real problem where I was trying to get the kit here, and in fact, my yarn rep broke up with me. He's like,
Rowan, that was Rowan.
Oh my God, it was totally Rowan's fault. But they did apologize and they tried to fix the situation, but. He and I just pushed him a little bit like, hey, I'm frustrated here. Could you please help me out? You're the rep that I work with.
And you're costing me money because you said we're going to get these in.
Well, I had all these people that wanted kits and then it took too long. And so now I'm still sitting on this inventory for this kit. Anyway, so I made one square for each week. They launched it. Was it Thursdays they launched each square? I feel like it was every Thursday. So I made the one and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. And then life and Christmas and lifing, more lifing and chaos and catastrophe. So I have done like maybe 9 squares. I couldn't even have for a pillow.
For each week, it was only 7.
Oh, I did a couple extra.
Okay.
I did a couple extra, but not
She's padding it.
Yes, it was little hyperbole, never hurt anyone. But anyway, so I would put one out.
17 and a half.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I work on it so often.
What color was this one?
That was one
this
that
one was not
you couldn't
in
order in, and I had a.
Okay. I was going to say this was not in the traditional
kit.
It's really pretty
because I don't like that green. And
you don't like this green?
No, I didn't like the green that came with the.
Green
right behind your head. So I had that in my stash, but I can't find that color now. So when I got it in, it's a little bit darker, but it'll be perfect for the border.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
I like it. It's called Fjord.
That's pretty.
So then I did the trees, and I've got now on each page how many more I need to do of each one. So I got to do like 2 more of these. And I decided when I pulled it out today, I am really going to start bringing them when I work for you on Thursdays and do one when I'm here.
Look at here
because they do go fast.
They do. They're a nice little. It's a great way to play with color work. The patterns are free, so if you just go to.
I love this one. I just love that block.
This one's really pretty.
And so I have 17 and a half. You're supposed to make 35, but I think I'm going to do 36 because I would rather have it squarer than rectangle.
Yeah. This one's a really fun project. It's a great way.
I probably should start. I'll start blocking them when it gets warm because I can put it outside and block it in a couple hours.
Yeah. The good thing about this is if for some reason color work intimidates you, okay? So someone just requested to be in our live video. I don't know how to do that. View request.
Hello.
Ooh, hold on one second. Let's hit.
Are you dressed?
Let's go.
You're not naked.
Let's see. I don't know what we're walking into, but let's see here with Bayou Angoras. Let's see if they if you are going to yell at Judy, I'm kind of excited for that.
Honey,
hey. So
I didn't know I was going to do that. Hey, hi.
Well, we've got someone joining us on our Instagram feed. How are you?
Good.
Wonderful. Anything you want to add to our shenanigans here?
No, I just wanted to see what was going on with this. I didn't realize it was going to bring me into it. That's all.
Well, we're glad you did.
We're welcome to our craziness. Thank you for watching. We do appreciate
Where
that.
are you at?
Louisiana.
Figure with Bayou. I figured with
Cool. Bayou.
Terrific. Well, thank you for popping into our show.
Okay.
Are you doing any of these? Are you doing the midwinter knit along? I've done 5 so far.
Yeah, I actually raise Angora goats.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
And have processed the mohair. But I'm interested in, I don't knit, but I'm interested in it because
Well, you got the goats for it.
that's the end.
We can bring you to the dark side. Just tell your husband you need a weekend at the beach,
Yeah, we're not that far.
and we'll bring you to the dark side.
My daughter's looking at Tulane as well, so we can always
Where are you?
we are in Bluffton, South Carolina.
Which is right outside Hilton Head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right
We're
next to
between
Savannah.
and Charleston.
Mhm.
So we can show you a good time during the day and knit at night, or
Woo!
opposite.
Oh my
Or knit
goodness!
during the day
Oh!
and a good time at night.
Oh my goodness! Well, she signed up for this, not me. I'm boring. So, well,
No, she's
anyway,
not.
thank you so much. It was nice to meet you.
All right.
Jake.
I'm going to click off and just listen.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
That was fun.
See, you never know what you when you hit buttons and you're. That's what I'm always like. Oh, I'm FaceTiming you. Oh, sorry, don't answer that. So
My phone will just FaceTime people. I don't know why. I get this message. Is everything okay? Yeah, what? You tried to FaceTime me at 2 a.m. last night.
Oh.
Are you serious? I don't know what my phone. I don't have no idea what my phone is doing.
What do you call your phone? Gina? No, that's Gina's my phone. What do you call your phone?
It's not my phone. It's my
The evil little-
autocorrect.
Yeah,
Autocorrect is Sean, the drunk leprechaun,
that's right. Sean the drink. Mine is Gina, the girl from
the Jersey Shore girl.
Yeah, so they always.
I think you got to
change-
click her off.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh, there we go. So anyway, yeah, no, I do that a lot too, where if I'm tutoring, because I tutor a lot of people that don't live in this area. And so in Spanish, so I'll call them and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh God, I hit a button. I was trying to just don't answer that.
I know.
They're like, oh my God, you can't figure out your phone. I'm like, technology.
Zoom was hard for me during COVID when I was on the board of directors of the
Yeah.
So What Club, because we had to have these meetings. And I found out real quick what my grandmother meant about I didn't have a poker face, because every time
Oh, yeah,
somebody
no.
said something stupid.
Yeah.
So
no.
I was like, okay, I'll be knitting and not looking up except to answer a question, because somebody would say something really, really dumb. And I just,
Yeah.
I understand what you mean now, Grandma. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what, and I have students that they they do this the whole time. And I'm like, oh, you don't think they've got it all facing the ceiling? I'm like, oh, you don't think I can tell that you're not in my class anymore? Like, oh, okay, they're all there. So anyway, the fun of technology. Anyway, so we just like I said, I haven't had any time to work on anything. That's the only thing I've got going on right now. I've got a couple of
I've got
projects
these
in
and that.
not a timeout per se, but like in a holding pattern, because I was like, well, I want to play with
We
this one.
started the emerald, and this is my island walker.
So
It is coming along so pretty.
oh, look at this. So this
That's
is
the
the
back.
back side. Let me just kind of zoom. Island Walker is the name of this cowl pattern.
And it's using knitting for olive.
And here is the front.
I wasn't sure about this marzipan.
Really, I
color.
love it.
I love it because it really shows that neat design
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, I think that color
Because the
placement
others
is
had
terrific.
such, some other colors in with it, but I love it.
This
now.
one's called Island Walker.
Island Walker. There's 500 rows.
Is this actually going to fit?
Oh no, this is where when you get, it's still got 440 more rows to go.
Oh, so it's a longer cowl. It's not over your head.
No, it'll be. Oh, no.
I thought she was going to put this on. Oh, here's my cone head.
It's not ridiculous. No, what happens is I don't think it'll be as long as the scarf is, but
Yeah.
500 rows, who knows? Because I'm only on row 63.
Mm.
So I was going to do 5 rows yesterday, but I did 3 and had to rip out twice in one row. And I'm
Time
like,
to time
Dad,
out.
when you make 2 mistakes in one row, because there's only 110 stitches on here, then you're either distracted or you're tired,
Mhm.
and that's the clue.
You know what? You need to be
Now,
put aside.
when you finish this, That's how I've done a lot of cows. This is on waste yarn right here.
Mhm.
So you're going to take that and the end here, and you bring them on top like this. And you've got to match them up exactly.
Yeah. No
and
pressure
what I
there.
do is I do 10 stitches, 10 stitches, marker, 10 stitches, marker. So I know, and then you Kitchener them together.
And I just made my video about the Kitchener
Yes, but
stitch.
I can do Kitchener, so it doesn't bother me. So,
So can I.
so but that's the tricky part. You got to bring it up on top
And
and
lined.
get them exactly. I've got there's some cows in here where I've done it.
Yeah.
So yeah, our friends came in. Yes, my friends came in yesterday because they wanted to see the shop, and they're like, so did you make that hat? I made all those hats right there except for the last one. And then she goes, and the scarves, yeah, all of those are mine except for those two. And yeah, that's my sweater. And yeah, I just bring in a suitcase, Tony, and pack when I have to
Hey,
go
listen,
somewhere.
I like what she's made. Why do I have to
this
recreate
is
it?
fun, and I don't need it till this fall. So I just do like
Yeah, it's
5.
really pretty.
I don't do it when I can kind of do it when watching TV, but not if I'm watching a rerun of something.
Yeah.
Like on Mondays, and when I'm home alone, I'll turn on like reruns of Mike and Molly or King and Queen. So I'm just half listening to it, and then I follow, because you have to take the charts and tape them together.
Yeah,
and there's one chart for this and one chart for this. So
Yeah.
if you saw my maker board, I've got half of it down here and the other half up here. So I go front is down here, and then you look up to do it up here. And there was only one place that I kind of screwed up. I think I skipped a row, or I did the same row twice, and you can see it right
It's
here.
all good. It's all
but
good.
I like it. It
Yeah,
looks
it's all
kind of
good.
cool. So it's like, yeah, what I did, I actually did put in a lifeline and rip back 5 rows, and I still didn't quite get it. So it's like, I don't care. And it's there.
It's an
It's
extra
mine.
chevron.
Yeah.
Well,
look for it.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I do. I love this right here. I think
that one's fun. I like
cool.
that one too.
So I'm having fun with it. I really am enjoying it. And I do have the worsted weight that I want to design one off of the cards, and that's in the works. So I've been doing those. I've been working on Shakerag, but Shakerag can get kind of boring, but that's when I'm watching something important on TV.
Well, let's look at the dye stuff that you brought in. So I have asked Judy, because she dyes all these gorgeous yarns, and what she does is kind of use where we live in the Low Country as her muse for the colorways that she comes up with. And so we have them that are labeled. So a lot of people like them when they come into town to take home as a souvenir, because it's, kind of taken place of one of the beaches that are here, or something that's famous in this area, or something that it's known for. So I'm like, well, why don't we make one that's specific to Low Country shrimp and
these
knits?
are all the colors that I have, and they're in their purest form. Now, some of them, the new ones that I picked up down in Starlandia, I accidentally dyed it with cotton. I thought I grabbed my wool yarn, and I didn't. So to see the true color of that, you got to look at the wool yarn that I used to tie it. I was like, why does that feel so different? It's like,
oops.
So, but I did tie it up with wool yarn, so you would see, or the merino, so you would see what it really looks like.
Gotcha.
But I love this one that's called Seafoam.
It's pretty.
This one's pretty, but you want pinks.
Well, I don't know. So, I mean, here we are, Low Country shrimp and knits. And
those are all my samples that I pull through, and I've got them all labeled of what the dye is. Those are all the dyes that I have.
So we'll have to play with this. So what do you think? If you think we should have a yarn that's for Low Country shrimp and knits,
I can call it shrimp and knits.
And we're calling it shrimp and knits. What do you think we should use? What colorways? So shoot me a message here.
Or you were thinking pinks and creams.
I was thinking pinks and creams.
So this is bubble gum.
This one's kind of.
That's more coral. If you look at that.
Yeah.
It's coral cake, coral.
So this one's more like, because
this is funny. This is called jungle. Well, it is jungle red. There it is there. This one is pretty, I think. That
looks like a shrimp.
Hot pink.
Yeah, this one looks like a shrimp to me.
Well, I'm wondering if you mix the two colors together, the coral and
these two colors.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you throw it in, and I can make it more. This one is really pretty, depending on what you mix with it, and that's called rose pink.
Rose pink. So
and
here
I think this
some,
is a pretty purple.
I like that one too. That's got some purples and the pinks in it. So here's kind of a look at the color
kind of looks like
wheel.
I should break into Gypsies, Tramps, and Fiends.
Yes, nothing like a little share. So yeah, we're here for suggestions. What do you think? What we should do for our dye that's specific to Low Country shrimp and knits? So when you come in, you can take home a souvenir.
Because I don't use them just as pure colors. I'm always mixing them, like Mermaid's Tail. is actually 3 different dyes that you dip 3 different ways, and it makes those colors.
Yeah.
And you don't have a mermaid's tail here. I sold them all this week.
See how you are.
I made them and I sold them. That's
Well, and then you made one that was specific to Corner Perk, which is this cute little coffee shop we have right here in Old Town
and we're like,
Bluffton.
it didn't come out.
She's like, I don't know
it
if I
didn't
like
do the
it.
browns that like I wanted, but
And then it sold like what, 5 minutes after
it sold
was
within
hung up?
48 hours.
So
So it's like, yeah, I'm
you
gonna
just
do it
never
again.
know. You never know what people are looking
I'm
at.
gonna do it again. Well, there's a place down in Savannah because you have SCAD down there, which is the
Savannah College of Art and Design.
Thank you. Couldn't think of it. And like Dutch chocolate. I think this Dutch chocolate is gorgeous.
That doesn't look like chocolate to me.
This does. Well, that's cotton. This is
Oh.
what it comes. I know. I got to redo them. I don't have time. I don't have time. Somebody keeps me busy. So instead, there's this place which is really, really cool in this neat little district that's been revamped and redone called Starlandia, and in Savannah, and it's an art resale space. So, in other words, the SCAD students can bring in their equipment at the end of a semester. Like maybe they bought all
Like
these
reselling their books
dyes,
and-
and they sell them and they get credit for new stuff. So you've got to take
That's cool.
Lena there. They've
Yeah.
got canvases,
My artist daughter.
and all pencils and crayons that haven't been really used, and it's really, really cool. So I did pick up some really good dyes there, and that's why they're in cotton, because I got excited and tried to do them and didn't realize that I grabbed the wrong.
Yeah,
color.
we all do
So
that.
I'll do them again sometime.
So yeah.
But yeah, picked up some neat new dyes. So whenever I pick up a new dye, I do try to make one of these.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well, let us know. Let us know what you're working on. Let us know if there's a variegated pattern that you're like, no, you definitely want to make this one as, a sample or something that would look really good. And then come in and check out all of our new stuff, because we got a whole bunch of new things inventory wise here at Low Country Shrimp and Knits. Everything can be shipped.
and come in on a Saturday when I'm working and she's worked on Friday, because she moves things around. She just does it to screw with me. So I'll go, oh, you want that? It's right. Oh, she moved it.
Yeah.
So then we spend 20 minutes doing laps till we find it.
Yeah, it's really, I'm trying to keep your cognitive, dissonance.
Plus I get my steps in, because I'm like, well, it was there. And
I have a little bit of OCD with organization. And so I have things that I'm like, that doesn't look the way I want it to. And
so
then I'm
on
like,
days when it's not busy, I just mess everything up. So it gives her something to do.
yeah,
So,
like when she came, she's like, oh, someone hit that entire shelf. With
oh my God.
her bag.
It was the
It was our knitting for Olive.
Bad.
It was all the knitting
And
for
you can
Olive.
see it. Well, you can see kind of here how neat it is. She had a backpack on.
It's not her
And we were
fault.
talking and looking at stuff, and she must have backed up, and the backpack fit right in. And when she turned, the whole crate came out with her. It was hysterical.
Yeah, all the yarn was
And
like an
she's like,
avalanche.
I'm sorry. So we kind of piled it up, and we got busy, and I was here till after 4. And finally, when I closed, I got home, and I went, oh, I never finished putting all that
That's
back.
all good.
So
It's all good.
it was just so cute. That's what it did. It just like Velcro
Woo!
to her backpack, and she turned around, and it just went flying everywhere. We were dying laughing.
Even though we have more space, it's still like try to cram more stuff in here, because
Well,
that's what we do.
backpacks. It's
I'm like, I
backpacks.
could market and use marketing money, or I could buy more yarn, and guess what wins out?
I hate being at a festival where people are wearing backpacks, because they turn around and they knock you out.
Well, I mean, yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I take a hold of them and move them. So, sorry, I don't want you hitting me with that.
Well, anyway, thank you for spending another silly hour with us. We do appreciate your support. If this is something that you have enjoyed, make sure that you like it. You
If
follow
you didn't,
us.
just don't tell us.
Yeah,
It hurts our feelings.
Yeah, we do have feelings somewhere deep down inside.
Don't send me a nasty letter.
Anyway, so thank you so much. We do appreciate your time. And if you have any questions or comments, always reach out to me. You can find me at shrimpandknits.com. You can find my website at shrimpandknits.com. Sorry, the email is at Gmail, shrimpandknits@gmail.
And if you find out what Gordon Ramsay's
pattern
knitting
is, let us know, because inquiring minds want to know. Have a great week. We'll see you back here in just a few. Stay out of trouble.
Oh, that's no fun.
Oh, all right. Get in trouble and get good video. Okay, so now we need to hit Function F. That should end that. Is that ended?
Are you sure?
No, it didn't end it.
I think you're still on.
I'm
Watch
still
what you
on.
say.
Well, I'll end you guys here.
Watch
Thank
what
you.
say. Watch what you do. There you go.
There's that. And now I got to figure out how to close this, because again, super technologically savvy. All right, end stream. And bye.